Hello, this is Steve Smith, building official for the Town of Smyrna. This tutorial is to help show you how that you can apply for a building permit through our online portal. It's very simple. The first step for you is to go to our website. It is townofsmyrna.org. Looks like this. Across the top, you'll see community, business departments, so forth. You want to look for departments and hit departments. And then on the left, you'll see our department, which is building safety. Select building safety. And then again on the left is a button for permits. You're certainly welcome and encouraged to read this, but for right now, I'm going to skip down and explain to you that all permits that we issue cannot be obtained through our online portal. Only residential permits can be obtained, residential building permits, I should say. And for that, only new home, new single-family dwellings, new duplex, or a new townhouse are applicable for this type of application. And obviously you're not going to select paper format, you're going to select electronically via our online portal. So if you want to build a single family dwelling, you'll select that. It's going to open a written tutorial about what I'm about to go over with you. But the main thing that you want right now is the URL for our online portal. And there it is in blue. CityWorks is our permitting software. If you already have an account, you can type your username and password in. If you do not, you're going to need to do a sign up. So obviously you hit sign up. It's going to ask you for a variety of information fields, email address, first, last name, so forth, passwords, and so forth. I'm going to cancel that because I already have an account. And so I'm going to type my username in here, and bear with me, and my password, and log in. It's asking if I want to save this password. I would recommend that you do so. I am not, because I don't need to in this application, but I do recommend that you save your password, and also that you bookmark this URL so that you do not have to go through the Town of Smyrna's website and go through those series of clicks. You just bookmark the page. You can go to it quickly anytime in the future. Across the top here are several different tabs. If you have already created a case, you may have some active cases, previously submitted cases, or maybe a case that you started and didn't finish. You can come back to it that way. None of those are situations that we're going to cover today, but if you do need to get to some of those cases in the future, certainly you can do so. Obviously, we're going to create an application. Here we go. As I mentioned before, we can do either permits. I did not mention that we can also do plan reviews for commercial jobs. That's not what we're going to discuss today. We're only going to do building permits for residential construction. So I'm going to hit permits, and as I said, we're going to cover residential permits for building only. Electric, I will do a separate tutorial for that. Gas and mechanical are actually very similar to building permits. So here we go, building permits, residential. I have three options: either a new single-family dwelling, a new duplex, or a new townhome. If you are wanting to get a permit for a deck in your backyard, if you're wanting to get a permit for an attached or detached garage on your lot, swimming pool, those kinds of things, or even an addition to your home, you cannot get your permit through this portal. This is only for new construction. Obviously, I'm going to select single-family dwelling. Here is some information that you really should read. I'm going to go over it with you now as well. The first thing is you're about to be asked for a description. Description means the subdivision and the lot number. For instance, if the subdivision was Colonial Acres, lot 17, then you would key in exactly that. Colonial Acres, followed by the word lot, followed by 17. If it's Dogwood Villas Estates, Phase 3, we're not going to need all of that. Dogwood Villas is probably going to be enough, followed by the word lot, followed by the lot number. Similarly, on the address line, which will be right below that, if you'll just put in the address traditionally, in the case of 1731 Lanier Lane, for an example, that's all you need to put. You will not have to put in Smyrna, Tennessee, 37167. And in fact, once you type in 1731 Lanier, not Lanier Lane, once you type in 1731 Lanier, it should auto-populate. A little bit of advice: if when you type in 1731 Lanier and it does not auto-populate, that's not a good sign. What I would recommend is just leave address blank. That's right, just leave address blank if it does not auto-populate. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it auto-populates in just a minute. The last thing I'm going to mention is, and I'll cover this again, as you work through this application and get to the end, you're going to see fees. It is not time to pay for those fees when you see them. Please do not pay for the fees until you receive an email from this department telling you it's time to pay for your fees. Doing so actually creates a real snag for us. So please just refrain from coming to pay for fees until you have been notified it is time. Excuse me. You'll click OK and begin the application. Again, as I mentioned before, under description, that's our first item. We need to type in the subdivision, and in which case it's Westover. Remember I said type in the word lot and the lot number, which is lot 33. The address. Again, the address is 1421 Kennebec Drive, but all I need to type in is 1421 Kennebec, and look, it auto-populated. Once it does, I'm going to select that, and there it is. If it had not auto-populated, remember I said just swipe it away, leave it blank. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but we can deal with subdivision and lot. I'm afraid that if you try to put in a non-auto-populating address, it's going to lock you up. Next, we click Next. Now it wants the contractor. Right below that number 2, contractor, is Select Contractors. Hit Select Contractors, and you will see a list of contractors. Unless you are in that A group right there, you're going to have to search, and the way to do that is with that looking glass. And you'll hit the box and type in your name, P-R-O-T. And Protect Services is just an example that I'm throwing out there. Notice it's showing a business license and a general contractor's license. All we are interested in is the general contractor's license, so I'm going to select that and hit Submit. Notice that Hooper Electric is there and it's got nothing to do with this. I'm going to show you how to make that go away in just a sec. But for now, excuse me, I'm going to hit Next, and it wants name, address, and phone number. Well, you've already created that, so you can click Use My Information, and there it will auto-populate, and you can hit Next. But remember I said I was going to show you how to get rid of that contractor, so I'm going to go Previous, and Previous, and now I'm going to hit the X beside Hooper Electric and it goes away, and now we can move forward. I apologize for you having to do that on the contractor. I'm going to try to improve that in the future. Now under data group, we just need to answer some questions. We need some information with you so we'll know about this house. The first question is it going to have a sprinkler suppression system in it? Most houses will not, but there are cases where they will. In this hypothetical house, I'm going to select no. It wants to know square footage. I'm going to type in some square footage, 3210 for the first floor. Second floor, this is going to be a 2111 square footage on the second floor. I'm just going to move to the next box, open porch or deck. This hypothetical house is going to have a 230 square foot deck on the back, open, uncovered deck. It's also going to have a small 52 square foot covered porch. The house is not going to have a basement. It will, however, have a 230 square foot bonus room and a 400 square foot garage. A few other questions. What's the contract amount or construction cost for this job? I'm going to type in 43210. I'm going to move down to the next space, exterior wall surfaces. It's just going to give you some options. If it's brick, siding, stucco, and even if it's a siding that is vinyl or non-vinyl, such as hardy plank. That's what I'm going to select on this one. And I'm also going to, I can hit that arrow there and it's going to give me options on the number of bedrooms. I'm going to hit this arrow below that for bathrooms. And for fireplace, in this house, I'm going to say it's going to have a prefab or manufactured factory-built fireplace. That's it. Next. At this point, this is where you can attach some documents. For instance, you will need to give us a site plan of your lot showing distances to property lines, and any kind of easements, as well as your HVAC unit. And so I'm going to hit add, and when I do, you can see that if I already had this file maybe on my computer, I could attach it by choosing files. In my particular case, what I have is just a piece of paper, so I'm going to take a picture of this. And so I hit take picture. I'm going to line it up. I like that. I'm going to hit use photo. And notice it has added that. However, one thing I want to draw to your attention, if you will label this for us, and you see the word label there to the right of that attachment, hit label and just identify what you are attaching. This was a site plan. And I also need to provide the school facilities tax. And I'm going to do it in the exact same way. I'm going to add another document, take photo or video. I like it. I'm going to use that photo. And there it is. But I do want to label it. And again, I can hit label. I'm going to look for Rutherford County School Facilities Tax. Select it, and it's going to identify that for me. If you need to give us your business license, you could do it that way and label it. If there's some other random document that you need to give us, you can do it the same way. Maybe there's not a label for that, and that's okay. It does not have to have a label, but it does help us if you can label the documents as they are applicable. We're almost done. I will hit next. And here's a summary of the fees. And as I mentioned to you before, it's not time to pay for these fees yet. It's just giving you information as to what they all are. If you needed to go back to another screen like we did to the contractor a few minutes ago, or to any of those other steps, you can hit the previous button and go back to those. If you're satisfied with everything, you can hit submit, and in which case it's actually going to push this through to our system and we will process it. And here I go, watch. submit. But before, it wants you to know some things. And one of them is what we just discussed. I agree to not make payments until I receive an email letting me know it's time to make a payment, as I mentioned before. And then the last one is simply, I agree to abide by all of Town of Smyrna's codes and ordinances as they relate to this project. And you will have to accept both of those statements in order for this to go through. And now it's going to submit this project. And it is done. And now you can look at this project and you can see some of the information that you keyed in. Notice here toward the bottom, by the way, there are your attachments, but notice here you're going to see the workflow. You didn't see that before, but that is actually, you might say, the inspections and all the tasks that have to happen in order to get this house built. If you wish to come back to this permit in the future, you can do so, and you can watch these inspections take place. Obviously, none of them have taken place at this point, but they would show up as either being ready to be looked at by one of our inspectors, or maybe you would see the result of that inspection. If it passed, it failed, whatever the case may be. If you would like to, what that will somewhat look like is, I'm going to hit that CityWorks word there in the upper left corner, and it's going to show me there's some of my active cases, and I could select one of these and go to it and see those cases. In fact, I'm going to search for, let's see if I can search for West. It is not behaving as I had hoped, but nonetheless, it will be there. It's not an active case right now. It would be a previously submitted case. And there it is. There's that permit right there we just created, permit 22-33435, and on 1421 Kennebec. It was created on August the 2nd. It's not ready for you to pay for. Once you have paid for it, once you get that email, it's going to show up in my active cases. It won't be there yet. At any rate, that's kind of it in a nutshell. If you have any questions about how to do this, please feel free to give us a call. I think you'll find this to be pretty easy, but if you need to reach us, please call. Again, my name is Steve Smith, and you can reach me at area code 615-355-5704, and we will certainly do everything we can to try to help you do this. Thank you for listening.